Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve.
Wow.
Two Queers in a Truck time. And if you watched last week's episode, and if you haven't, go back and check it out before you watch this one. We had an esteemed guest on Two Queers, which is unusual for us. We normally don't have guests, but this one was too good to pass up. Mr. Del Shores, that lives here in California, the playwright, has been involved with TV shows like Carmen and Greg, etc., etc. Phenomenal career. Couldn't even cover it all on this show. We'd run out of time. But we're going to jump right into it. But do yourself a favor, and then also check out the Coffee and Pandose episodes for the 24th and today's episode. We have a two-parter with Mr. Del Shores on that as well, so you can get three different stories, three different segments applying to his job, to his career, his childhood. He's originally from Texas, like Christian and I are, and just a lot of a national treasure, to be honest. Like has a variance in the things he's done in the entertainment industry and humanitarian, and his Del Shores Foundation does a lot of good work. So if you're involved with the LGBT community, check that out and possibly make that your charity of choice. Anyway, we're going to jump right into it and jump right into the first segment, which has nothing to do with those episodes, but so I was thinking about what we would do in New Year's Eve, and a lot of times we take our hiatus during this time of year, so we don't always film in December. So a lot of times we've not had a Christmas Eve or a New Year's Eve show, and this year we're actually having both because we're segueing into some things which I'll cover a little later on in the show. But the first part, I'm going to talk about 2025. So the first three segments will be about 2025, and the first one is South Park, the TV show, the animated show, is literally become the real news source for Paramount CBS. And you talk about a network that has fallen so far, that is up for sale, or they're trying to buy other networks, and they have fell to their knees, basically, and are kissing the feet. I was going to say something else. But they're kissing the feet of a dictator, an obvious fascist dictator, and South Park has them. Now, for one thing, they've got over $1 billion to almost $2 billion, I believe, invested in the South Park, so they really can't mess with it. Plus, it's probably one of their highest rated shows still on the network. South Park has let Trump and all of his associates have it these last couple seasons, and this year they've shot 2 different seasons, seasons 27, 28. And if you really want to know what's going on in the Trump administration, watch South Park. And I mean, they are humor and a lot of reality are letting the Trumpers and the MAGAs have it. And I just watched a couple episodes that I've missed recently, and it just struck me because you're thinking about a network that had Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather. The reporting that Dan Rather did in Vietnam was groundbreaking. It was probably one of the biggest reasons why we pulled out of Vietnam was the CBS and Dan Rather's coverage. Walter Cronkite, when we walked on the moon, and the coverage that Walter Cronkite did is probably one of the most trusted TV news anchors of all time. You have 60 Minutes and the groundbreaking, hard-hitting journalism and investigative journalism that you got from 60 Minutes over the decades, and how they've basically been cut. 60 Minutes no longer will report the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They won't hit back at this guys. They're scared of lawsuits. They have allowed a litigious fascist dictator change, and now the 60 Minutes is basically a puff piece. It's all editorials and interviews without any teeth or grit anymore, and they're so afraid to criticize the current administration. Their original mission is gone, and the only branch of CBS Paramount besides the Daily Show, but the Daily Show doesn't have near the ratings that South Park has. South Park is hitting them between the eyes. They are not pulling any punches. Every episode is not only hilarious. I mean, it's pee yourself funny, but it is one of the most powerful editorials I've ever seen of politics in a long, long time. And it is, people are rallying around it. And it's ironic in 2025 that of all the major networks like CBS, NBC, and ABC, South Park is kind of that champion. It is the counterculture version of what we need at this time. And it's the little independent news media as well as pushing back. Even shows like this and podcasts are pushing back. But it's nice to see at least one major network where one major show is actually hitting this administration back where it hurts the most and pointing out the most ridiculous things. Their thing on Pete Kegstand is absolutely hilarious, and the song is basically Pete Kegstand is a douche, and it's literally the lyrics in that, but it's side for the Kenny Loggins Top Gun song, and it is absolutely a riot. It's one of the funniest comedy things I've ever seen. Another thing that happened in 2025 is more personal. I moved west, and it's something. Some of it is the times are changing, and my wife and I made a decision that was both deeply personal but also professional. Is that there is a more sustainable future out here. It's definitely safer, especially for her. It is a place that we've always kind of wanted to be in the West, and it's kind of like time's a ticking. And the reality that neither one of us, especially myself, is not getting any younger. And if we're going to do it, it's kind of going to be now. And doors opened up, and reality set in, and no regrets. And I think one of the reasons I'm bringing it up on New Year's Eve is, a lot of people do New Year's resolutions and all that, and I know the last few years I've always told myself I need to do what's right for me, and I hope that inspires people to make decisions that will help themselves, especially people in the queer community. I know a lot of our listeners and viewers are in the LGBT community. And you got to figure out a path and go towards it. It doesn't mean you always get there. I mean, you may have to change course a little bit or adjust, as even our esteemed guest, Del Shores, talked about. Is he set out to be an actor and ended up being a prolific writer. And that's what his career centered around, was his writing. And that's just the way life goes sometimes. We sometimes dream of being an astronaut. We end up being a salesperson, like there isn't always an ideal, like our ideals of where we went and where we ended up. And Christian and I talk about this a lot, is how heavily our careers may be centered around the hotel industry or the resort business or all of that. And then all of a sudden we're in podcasting, and it is big changes have happened in both of our lives and in 2025, but also in the country. And I think it's very symbolic of what's going on in this country is that people are making decisions and have to make decisions on what's going on, and specifically in the Hispanic communities all across the United States, where they've had to live states that they've maybe lived in for years because it just isn't safe for them. You know, whether they're a citizen or not, many migrant workers call the United States home. And many of them provided the backbone and working workforce that we need to be a very productive country, and one of the most productive countries on the planet. Many states are now suffering in the agriculture industry because of the lack of staffing, because of what this administration has done, not to mention the horrific tariffs and the consequences that come with that. And sometimes the times make you, and sometimes you make the times. And we all have to adjust to these new normals in some way. It doesn't mean we have to accept them. It doesn't mean that we can't vote or participate in democracy to change them, but we also have to adapt to what's going on in this world today and adjust accordingly. And it's kind of why I talked about CBS and how they've slid downhill to the point to where some of their shows are ineffective. Some of the mission statements that 60 Minutes used to have don't even apply anymore. And they're so afraid to do things. And it's why my wife and I made that decision to move. And it was one that has opened up doors, but also, quite frankly, we enjoyed the weather and the lifestyle that is afforded in West Hollywood that we just couldn't have in Charlotte and keep our sanity. And that's just reality. But we are up against our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck New Year's Eve time with this important message. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy time. We are back. And I think this year has had a lot of symbolic moments, and one of them that I think has been one of the most symbolic ones is the destruction of the East Wing of the White House. I think it's an allegory for 2025. Trump reminds me of the monkeys at a zoo where they just will laugh, but also throw poop at you too. And they don't really make sense.
Yeah.
They're not going to make sense. And they don't really have a point to what they're doing, but they're still going to fling shit at you. And Trump's like a monkey in a cage. He doesn't really know why he's there.
Yeah.
He doesn't really serve a purpose that's useful, but he's there. And it's kind of like this destruction of the East Wing. And quite frankly, and here's the reality, this ballroom, by the time it's all said and done, and by the time they get all the permissions and the permits and all that, it's not going to get finished until he's out. Yeah. If they do.
Yeah, I mean, do you think like they're going to get permission? Yeah.
They're struggling.
Yeah.
They are struggling. And there's a lot of adjustment and a lot of banter because the way he's trying to build it's too big.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of things they didn't do right, and now they're getting caught up into the reality that it isn't his house.
Yeah.
And he can't just do what he wants when he wants. And I think just like with the rest of the country, especially in these red states that voted for all this nonsense, they got tore down too. They're like the East Wing. You know, states like Nebraska and Texas and states that are Arkansas that are immeasurably suffering from this administration. that are either in a recession or on their way to having a recession that were thriving before. They were thriving under Biden. That many of the things that Biden did, whether you liked him or not, helped these states, including investments in the infrastructure that now Trump's trying to take credit for. And just like the monkeys that fling the shit for no reason, for whatever reason, we wanted to change horses because I guess it was working too good. And so we just decided that we don't need the East Wing anymore. We don't need Biden anymore. And so we just tore it down. We just got rid of Biden. We just jettisoned. Hey, thanks for 4 years. We appreciate you saving the country, but fuck off. And just like the East Wing, Biden is really old, but he still served a purpose. And he was a phenomenal president. And he did a lot in 4 years. He packed in a lot, considering his age and considering everything. He really did a lot, and so did Vice President Harris. And unceremoniously, we just fired him. Hell, we didn't even want him to run. That's the things. And so America does have the president they deserve. We've earned this president. We deserve the monkeys flinging shit on us, in my opinion. And just like that East Wing, we deserve to see a torn down East Wing with no plans in sight to actually rebuild it. No ballroom. It's probably going to be 5 or 6 years down the road. Who knows if it's ever going to get built, or if the next president, whoever that may be in 2029, doesn't just tear that down and rebuild the East Wing again. Like, who knows how long this high drama of the White House destruction and reconstruction is going to happen. It's a hot mess and much ado about nothing, but it is a symbol of how feudal the United States has become, where we have one administration destroy the country and the next administration spend the 4 years trying to rebuild it, for only the next administration, which was the same administration 2 administrations ago, tear it down again. And this is a cycle we've been in. We had Reagan and Bush for 12 years, and they decimated the country in so many different ways. We had 8 years of Clinton to rebuild this son of a bitch and get it on the right track. 8 years of baby Bush tearing this place down, getting us into tremendous war debt, with 8 years of Obama actually having a solutions and saving this country in so many different ways. And we're in this yin and yang cycle. And we've, as a people, need to forget a little bit less about ideology and figure out what the practical path forward is and how we progress as a country and as a nation, and make our decisions accordingly. That brings me into 2026. So the last 3 segments, we're going to reconcile what may happen in 2026, or at least talk about it before we get into this coming year. For one, on a personal note, we got a launch of a whole bunch of things. We have got some new formats coming up for this show, including a joint production in which it is going to be a paid channel or a member-based channel. And there's going to be some updates after this recording and put on our social media. So stay tuned on how you can get involved with that. It's going to be very, very inexpensive, with some special and exclusive content and some of the best stuff. So we're going to take some of the best clips of 2025 and pop this on this channel as well. And it's going to be a treat. It's going to be like the really good Reader's Digest version of what makes this show magical. And so for a very, very affordable, probably for about the cup of coffee nowadays, which is about $3 or $4 a month, you can enjoy in a very expanded version of what you see on Two Queers in a Truck, Coffee and Pen Dulce, plus much, much more. And I'm not going to go into great details, but on my personal career and this joint venture with Christian and I, we are going to go full throttle in 2026. And I hope, as loyal listeners, that you get involved and enjoy the product that we're going to create. And it's going to be something special, and it's kind of a thank you. We are not trying to make a mint off this. This will be something that's designed to be low cost and get as many viewers as possible to enjoy this special content. That's going to take some extra work. It's going to take some more intentionality, but we felt like it was time. Is we feel like you guys have been craving this and wanting this special content, and many of you follow us on Facebook. Many of you have now participated in some way with the success of the show. And honestly, this is about y'all. This is our holiday gift to you guys in 2026. Is creating this specialized content, and it will be exciting. It's going to be a lot of new and innovative stuff and very short format shows. So most of the shows will ring in at about 5 to 10 minutes. So they're going to be more like vignettes. They're going to be very episodic and very themed. So we're going to have 3 different overarching themes, which our advertising will go into the detail at. But just to say the momentum, the excitement of 2026, and we got to look forward to something, both personally and from a worldview. We as a country, we have to find a way to bet on hope, and we got to define what hope looks like, what a future looks like. We as a country have to, laugh about some things, shrug some things off, and move forward. But we have to find a way. You have to do that in life. Life shifts, things change. Worlds change. Our world is a lot different in 2025 than it was in 2024. And who knows what 2026 will bring, but we also know it's coming no matter what. The end of the world isn't anywhere near close. So, but we do hope that you guys take advantage of the opportunities that we will continue to advertise on here, and the special opportunities if you so choose, and give us your trust and your participation. We would greatly appreciate that. We're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck after these important messages. Hey y'all, this is Jetty with Two Queers in a Truck, and Christian's along with me, and we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it, and we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye y'all.
Bye y'all. Bye boo.
Bye boo.
Hi everybody, this is Gersemi from the Americo show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA, go to your nearest homeless shelter, go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, 1, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. 2, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it, because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And 3, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people die to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who stormed Normandy, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Gersemi again from Americo, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism, and have a wonderful day.
And we are back. The midterms. The primaries are here. We'll see. We're about to jump right into primary season in a few days, and it's already begun in some states. Some states people are already doing some early campaigning, some jostling for some support. I know here in California, we not only are going to be electing people for the National Congress. But we also, our current governor this is his last year in office. He's termed out. So he has to move on, Gavin Newsom. So we have to elect a new governor. So we have a lot of people throwing their hats in the ring. As many states are going to have heads of state elections. I know Texas, Florida also have 2026 gubernatorial elections. There is some big things going on in 2026 that could drastically change this country. Hopefully for the better. Hopefully we saw a teaser of these off-year elections. Hopefully people are sick and tired of getting in this yin and yang cycle of putting up with Republican thuggery for a while, and the Democrats have to clean up the mess. As a fitness instructor and personal coach in the 1990s used to say, I think her name was Susan Powder or something like that, used to say, stop the insanity. We do need to have a centralized theme as a political party and a movement. Stop the insanity. We got to stop making excuses why we want to put fascists in office and bigots in office. And the majority of the bigotry in politics is coming from the Republican Party, almost 90% white American political party, very conservative and very out of touch with what this country needs. This is a diverse country. So diversity is important. We have every race, color, and creed lives in this country. We have no national religion. We've got people that have no faith. We have some people that worship different gods and goddesses of all kinds. We don't have a national language, even though English is the dominant language of our culture, but we definitely don't have a codependency on that. We've got to accept that if we want to be a world power, we've got to invite the world in. It's a two-way street. We depend on tourism, on trade. We do business all around the world. That's why the World Wide Web was called the WWW, was the World Wide Web. And we have to pretend as if we're going to be a world or global leader, that we have to participate in the world. This isolationism and trade wars, that is stupid. That's the kind of crap that causes depressions and recessions and is a recipe for failure, especially when our number one export to China is soy, for example. And we have to understand that our cotton, our oil, our products, our electronic problems, our Apple cell phones, and our Chevrolets and stuff like that get built and sold in other countries. That we're not the only one consuming American products. And we need to act as if we are in the world. And stop pretending like we are going to bury our heads in the sand and act like the world is not at our feet. We also have neighbors. We don't live on the moon. We have neighbors to the north and neighbors to the south. And we've got to figure out how to get along with them. And most of all, we definitely don't need a war, which is going to be our next segment. We don't need a war with Venezuela. There's no reason to get in a war with Venezuela. We can't afford a war with Venezuela. We don't need to spend the money to attack a country that didn't attack us. We don't need to do that again. If there's one lesson we learned with the 9/11 wars for profit, is we don't need to spend trillions of dollars on invading a country in our hemisphere and upset the apple cart. It's not because I don't think we can't beat Venezuela in a war. We can. It's this that we don't need to invade another sovereign nation over false reasons. Remember the weapons of destruction we found in Iraq? Oh yeah, that's right. It didn't happen. We we went into false pretenses in many of our wars. Vietnam, a certain aspect of Desert Storm, the 9/11 wars, the invasions, these unwarranted invasions over a solo terrorist attack. And now we are trying to blame narco trade on Venezuela when we get way more cocaine from Colombia than we do Venezuela, I guarantee you. Why aren't we invading Colombia? Why aren't we invading Mexico? I'll tell you why. It's because Venezuela does not have a government that particularly loves the United States. Venezuela is a top competitor with Saudi Arabia. And our current administration has a lot of brother-in-law deals going on with Saudi Arabia. And one way to take Venezuela out of the oil business for a while and give more control to Saudi Arabia is take their number one competitor out. Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the world, even larger than Saudi Arabia's. And that is the only reason why we're going to war with them is oil, oil, oil. When we need to be getting off the oil standard. We as a country have worked hard for alternative fuels and alternative energy sources. Fusion is right around the corner. The last thing we do is get in a war with a country on an archaic energy product. It's going to go the way of the dinosaur soon. And in 2 or 3 more years, we won't even need oil. Whether we choose to or not. Germany, Norway, the United States, and about 4 or 5 other countries are this close to stabilizing fusion, the energy of the sun, the power of the sun, basically mimicking the power of the sun. And in a few minutes, we can put out enough energy to power the whole country. It's literally so powerful, it's not even funny, with no real toxic waste. It's one of the most cleanest, stable systems, not to mention advances in wind power, solar power, and so many other technologies. We have to move forward. We have to do better. We can do better in our lives. And this is what participates in a lot of these choices. So I don't necessarily like to talk about New Year's resolutions, but our country should be resolved to do better. If there's a theme for 2026 is we need to do better and stop the insanity. Those are the 2 statements we need to carry forward into this new year. Do better. We can do better. We have done better before. And we need to make better choices in the midterms. Our country depends on that. We've seen what fascism can do. I think enough people are fed up on both sides of the aisle. I don't think anybody that is a way forward. It's a way to be reverted back. It's a way to destroy this country and only help our enemies. But Happy New Year. Y'all be safe out there. If you do partake, if you do drink those adult beverages, please don't drive. It's not a safe thing to do. We want you to ride a lot, and that's why Uber and Lyft exist. And out here in California, Waymo. But y'all have a great week. We'll see you next year. And as always, we appreciate you listening and watching all of our shows. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching 2 Queers in a Truck. And Happy New Year. Be safe out there. Enjoy this time. Reflect. Do have the day off tomorrow. Relax, kick back, and let's do better in 2026. Let's have a great year. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, boo.
Bye, boo.